If you're watching this, then you probably make regular improvements to your website aimed at increasing the sales of your WordPress themes and plugins. But do you actually measure the results of each change and get evidence of the impact on your conversion rate and your sales? So that is where A/B testing comes in.
This is WP Product Talk, a place where every week we bring you insights, product marketing, business management and growth, customer experience, product development, and more. It's your go-to podcast for WordPress product owners by WordPress product owners. And now, enjoy the show.
Hey, welcome to WP Product Talk. I'm Katie Keith, founder and CEO at Barn2 Plugins.
And I'm Matt Cromwell from Stellar WP.
And today we're talking about an important topic that most WordPress product owners don't do, improving your conversions via A/B testing.
And that's why we've invited a special guest today named Tom Carless. Tom, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Tom, tell the world a little bit about who you are, what you do, and I don't know, something like your favorite hobby. I don't know. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Ooh, okay. Like you said, my name's Tom Carless. I created A/B split test about 3 or 4 years ago now. And it's a tool that's designed to help people get evidence around their WordPress updates. A lot of people want evidence to show their bosses, to show their stakeholders, or just to prove to themselves that they're not terrible at this. So that's what we find people love using A/B split test for. A little bit about myself is I'm a big snowboarder. I live in a ski town, and you might be able to see that it is currently snowing quite heavily, and the mountain opens tomorrow. So I'm extremely excited for that. But extremely excited to be on here today. So thank you.
Cool. Where are you in the world?
I'm in Whistler in British Columbia in Canada, along with all the other Australians.
Nice. That's awesome.
Nice. So let's talk about why A/B testing matters first. Tom, could you tell us a bit about why people should even be bothering with this? Why can't we just make changes which common sense would tell us will improve our sales and leave it at that?
Yeah, so a lot of people do just love making the common sense updates, and then they'll look at their analytics, and maybe the analytics have gone a little bit higher, and then you kind of pat yourself on the back. But really what I found, especially when I was in my previous life as an agency, being able to give really granular results on the updates that you're making, it gives you so much more information to sort of continue on making better updates and better updates. So while, updating your homepage with a new catchy heading might sound good, maybe someone else has talked about you in another blog post or somewhere else in the world, and that increases your conversions. But then you associate that increase with you changing your headline or whatever you've done. So a lot of the time it's mainly just about being granular enough that your updates actually can be pinpointed back to something. Why people split test in general is because it makes you more money with the same traffic. So you save a lot of money on ads or anything else like that you're using to get people to your website. It just helps with your efficiency a lot there as well.
Yeah, definitely. So let's all talk a bit about our personal experiences of A/B split testing. I'll go first because I used to do a lot of this and then stopped. And the reason for that is because Google Optimize, which used to be a free service offered by Google, stopped existing. Maybe was it a year or 18 months ago or something. So I used to do it all the time to test everything from should we have a bundle next to our pricing tables? How prominently should we feature the guarantee? Should our call to action say buy now or buy plugin? All sorts of things. And I used to get loads of really great data about what would actively affect the conversions, and it would even give percentages and things like that. And I used to love Google Optimize, and I could do the test myself, even though I'm not a developer, and then it just stopped. So it's only taken me until now to get back up and running with it. And I did loads of research of different SaaS products, because I had the idea that because Google Optimize was a SaaS and not a plugin I installed on my website, I would have rather, in theory, have it outside of my site. But I couldn't find anything that was user friendly, so you didn't have to do code to set up your tests, and also affordable. They were all, everything decent was hundreds of dollars a month. So I've ended up with your plugin, Tom, which I think was recommended to me by Ellipsis. So we've set that up maybe a month ago, and we're currently trialing whether or not it's good to have a video on our plugin sales pages. So we've got our main banner at the top, which is text and an image, and we've currently trialing 2 different videos versus no video. And the video ones are getting more positive results, although the results aren't statistically significant yet, because you need a lot of data to trust the results. And it's even telling us which of the 2 types of video are likely to work. So that's really great. So my story will continue of A/B testing, but that's where I am now. So, Tom, could you give some stories of your own experiences of A/B testing, and ideally tests that have had measurable results?
Yeah, I mean, the latest test, I do a lot of testing, so it's hard to remember them all. But my latest one, we've been doing on A/B split test itself. If you've gone through our checkout, you probably or hopefully didn't notice that you were being tested on. And what we did with that was we removed basically what all the conversion optimization thing says is you remove all the distractions, no header, no footer, everything like that. And we surrounded our checkout form with more trust building stuff like testimonials and just sort of a list of all the features that we've got. And we implemented that on our checkout page. So anyone looking to get the free version of our plugin or the paid version, see that test. And that's given us a 25% uplift in conversions.
Wow.
So for us, for us, a free download is worth sort of $30+ depending on how you look at it. So really any improvement to even the free downloads we can get is a huge uplift for our baseline. So yeah, we implemented that test, and it took about 2 months for us to just get the significant email that you're probably waiting for, Katie.
Is that a thing? I haven't received it yet.
You'll get an email. It does all the maths for you. So it figures out when you've hit 95% consistency certainty. But yeah, so I mean that was the latest one that's had a very big positive result. Recently, we tried a similar one to you, Katie, where we put a bunch of videos on the homepage, and we found they performed worse. Maybe because the videos weren't high enough quality to use, but yeah, that was another good one that saved us from losing 10% conversions per year. So we found that the default version was better than any of our new versions. Going further back in time, like I said, I used to have a WordPress agency, and communications with customers, you can run out of things to talk about after a while. The sort of the monthly check-ins get a little bit bland. So we started getting the question of, well, what are you doing for me, kind of thing. And, we'd explain we were making updates and things like that. And it never really lands that well with customers, we found. So when I started split testing, we'd say, we've updated your homepage, we've changed your menu to do this and this and this, and this has increased conversions by 7% or whatever it is. So sort of looking back, those are the ones for me that I found to be the most satisfying, are the ones where people say, well, what are you doing and how can we track this back to you? And you can just, well, right here is the news. So that's my favorite thing about split testing that really got me into it years ago when I first created this plugin.
That's awesome. Love it.
I got a few experiences with A/B testing too. Like Katie, I really loved working with Google Optimize. It was such an easy tool. I loved how it integrated with Google Analytics together. Universal Analytics back in the day, pre GA4 Bonanza. Um,
We miss that
and
too, don't we?
Yeah, like so many different like PTSD type related tech issues
Oh
lately. Um,
yeah.
but overall, what we ended up doing at Give in particular was we put together almost like a subcommittee of people that were focused on A/B testing, and that to me is like my big takeaway from all the whole experience is that yeah, like we were running experiments, but what were they going to result in, and were they actually the right ones in the end? And that whole thing about like getting to certainty, sometimes it felt like it was going to take forever, especially if we were testing a page that was like a sales landing page, or like an ad landing page, a squeeze page, some people say. We're paying for traffic to go to that page, and it just takes forever to get enough data on whether or not the experiment's gonna go one way or the other. So I wanted to chat a little bit about some of that with you in a little bit to get your take on some of the technical side of some of this stuff. But what I loved about what we did was we were really meticulous about like, okay, we're going to start this experiment at this month and we're going to run it for like 3 months. And we're going to see what the results are, make that change, and then run another experiment on a different part of the same page. And most of the time, we're focused either on the home page or either on the pricing page, sometimes on a specific product page that was leading to pricing and things like that. But we really had to have a dedicated group of people who were meeting every single month to review how each experiment was going, and to be thinking of what the next experiment should be in one form or another. And then also we were reporting on our conversion rate per page as well. So that we could see over time that, okay, over the 6-month period, we ran 3 different experiments and our conversion rate on the pricing page went from like 35% to 38%, something like this. And that to me was the kind of the magic sauce of the whole thing, was the really dedicated attention that we were giving it monthly, and several folks were working on it between the months as well. But and also the kind of like continual strategy of coming back to an experiment and implementing the changes and looking for the next one and things like that. So and it was really great to see how we learned a lot through the whole time. And I loved Katie's question at the very beginning of like, why don't we just like do what's instinctual to us and just like launch it that way? We all do in the first place. Like we're like, hey, this is a really nice looking pricing page. I love this pricing page. Like this is going to be the best pricing page ever. And then you find out that you think that, but hardly anybody else does. Somehow in one way or another, things just aren't as obvious as they should be. And that's what I love about A/B testing is it really checks your biases and really kind of puts your smart opinions into place, and is like, you think you're being clever, but really you're being too clever. Like dumb it down a little bit, and then you'll have a lot better results overall. So yeah, I love it. That's great stuff. Um, couple questions, Tom. Like,
Yeah.
especially on that whole issue of statistical likelihood, or that we're going to get to a winner. I love how you kind of gamify the plugin. It sounds like sending a congratulations email when it gets to 95% certainty. I think that sounds super fun. But is the certainty, is that like a fixed formula that you have, or do people have the ability to adjust how certainty is come to, or things like that?
Yeah, so you can adjust how certain um, how certain you want to be. We use, it's called Bayesian statistics, which basically just
Mm,
creates the classic bell curve out of your data coming in. The industry standard is once you're 95% confident, then you've got a winner. So we're just sort of hard coded to that. If you want, you can change it to a higher or a lower number, although I wouldn't recommend going lower. Yeah, some people do want a 97% certainty or something like that, but every percent after 95% takes a long time. So you end up taking an extra sort of 2 to 3 weeks per improvement. So yeah, we use 95%.
And do you have like fixed page views or fixed experiment numbers or things like that?
Yeah, so I mean, with our plugin, you set your variations, which can be different pages or different blocks, different elements, different templates, whatever you like, and then you set your conversion. So, like you were saying, sometimes it takes a long time to get results, and a lot of the times that's just because your conversions are too much further down the funnel. So we say to people with low traffic that your conversion could just be engagement. So whether or not someone spends 40 seconds on your page, or whether or not they scroll down in terms of doing a long squeeze page, a lot of people have the conversion just when you hit 80% down the page or something like that. So yeah, it's important when, I think you touched on it as well, when you're making updates, is you need to stay inside your funnel. So you want to start at generally your home page, like you said, pricing page, keep on heading through until you get to the checkout. So yeah, basically you want to start at your homepage where you're getting a lot of conversions, and those conversions should be something nearby. So clicking through to the next part of the funnel or engagement or something else like that, just a button click.
Yeah.
So you can set all of that straight in the plugin.
Should we do that question first?
Yeah, real quick. We have a quick technical question too. Does your plugin support things like SureCart? Like, how important are all these types of like conversion or integrations for your plugin?
Yes, we do support SureCart. On our higher plan, we'll actually take the value of your SureCart order, and then you can use that as your conversion metric. So you can convert based on which version is making you more money, rather than just which one is getting more engagement or which one is simply reaching the checkout. So yeah, SureCart specifically, SureCart, WooCommerce, Easy Digital Downloads, we can take the value of your checkout and use that as a conversion metric. Generally, it's best just to have it as the thank you page. So if you're filling out a form on a website, everyone knows it's better to have a thank you page than a thank you message. So most of the time, and when you're getting started, you can just use those thank you pages or those next pages in the funnel. But yes, for SureCart, we've been thinking about swapping to SureCart for a lot of things. So yeah, we're pretty focused on that one.
Nice. We have one more comment here that actually is really interesting. I hadn't thought about. Nicholas says, also let them know the A/B test is the only A/B test tool that he knows of that doesn't store the data on external servers, which poses a risk for GDPR compliance. It's a really good point, actually. I mean, that's one of the things that we all keep talking about as a benefit that WordPress has in general, is being able to host your own data. And if you're going to be responsible for user data in one form or another, then it's a lot better to store it on your own server rather than somebody else's that you don't have control over. Was that, I feel like that there's a little bit of a softball. Was that kind of an intentional aspect of your plugin that you saw as like a value add or a way that you are competitive against those big SaaSes?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I first built this 4 years ago, just internally, being a WordPress developer, it was easy for me to just develop it internally rather than set up external servers and things like that. So I put a lot of effort at the front into making sure that it used a local server. As we grew, people started reaching out and saying, this is great because we're not using external servers and everything like that. So then we went back and we made sure that we were super privacy friendly. So we don't have any identifying information on users or anything like that. So yeah, we are fully GDPR compliant. Sorry. And yeah, it's better for so many reasons. Like now with the remote cookie blocks that are happening, it's no problem to us. Our data is as accurate as it ever was. And yeah, like you said, you don't have any external servers to worry about. You don't have to think, if you're in Europe, is this in the States? Which server do I need to choose? It's all just set up for you and ready to go out of the box.
Nice.
So we've got a question from Brad Guernsey as well. I have a newsletter, but super new to this type of work. My background is accounting. For A/B testing, what percentage of my email list should I test and then time the length? Sorry if you've covered this already. We haven't even talked about email A/B testing, but that is very relevant and something people should be doing as well.
Yeah, I mean, email testing is a huge one, especially when you have a list that I would say is sort of 500 people plus. You can start getting sort of real statistically significant results. But I mean, generally, I just say to test on 100% of your list and just split that between the variations that you've created and you think will increase conversions. If you're a huge company like Barn2 or something like that has a lot of email subscribers, maybe it's better to test on a smaller percentage. But in my opinion, I think it's better to get the test going, get the data as fast as possible, and move on, rather than sort of an attempt to preserve your list, I guess, is the reason why people don't want to test on their full lists or all their traffic. But generally, I think it's better to get the data quickly and sort of get the information done straight away.
What is, just a clarifying point there, what does that look like in terms of testing a newsletter, like with your tool in particular? Is that like an integration with like the newsletter plugin or like Groundhog or things like that? Or is it more about like where the list, which page on the site the list lands on or things like that? I'm trying to think through the logistics there.
Yeah, I mean, some people will just they'll do the split testing sort of inside their email newsletter, where they'll just append a query string to the end of the link saying test 1. And then in your split test, you can find that query string and then split your test based on that.
Nice.
Or you can just send the link. You can send the link straight to your website, and then split test itself can do the division for you there.
Nice. Yeah, Brad's in the comments here also saying that he's got 1,000 subscribers, so he's been doing 2 to 3 lines at a time. I think with a small subscriber list, I totally agree with you, Tom. Like doing the whole entire list and then doing more of the testing on the website itself, that makes a lot more sense too, I think. I think segmenting the list starts to make a lot more sense when you really have a big list that is already kind of segmented in different ways. Like for a lot of our Stellar products, we have it segmented between free only email subscribers and paid email subscribers. And so we definitely would segment that in different ways based on the type of content that email is doing and different things. But like being able to A/B test the free folks when we're promoting like a new product or something like that, that would be really interesting. So
yeah, and that's
now you're giving me ideas right before Black Friday. Like, should we be? I was like someone thinking, should we be putting testimonials in our Black Friday emails to add credibility? I could A/B test that. I've already done all the emails. I don't want to edit them. But actually, Black Friday is the time of year to be A/B testing sale-related things like emails, isn't it? So maybe that should be done.
Hey, that's a good one, actually. I want to give a shout out real quick. There's a pro tip that I always have every year for Black Friday, folks. When you're sending out emails, I've shared this before on the show, but like you're going to send a ton of emails over Black Friday, and you don't want to lose a whole bunch of subscribers because of that, especially like the subscribers that have already purchased your things. So segment as much as you can. But then even those free subscribers who they're just not going to buy right now, you don't want to lose those either. So one thing we always do, if you have an email system that's able to tag customers, put a little link in your email that says, hey, if you don't want to receive these Black Friday emails, just click right here. And it basically gives them the ability to just kind of be ignored through all the Black Friday stuff. And then after Black Friday, you could start sending them things again. So they get tagged with a specific like no Black Friday emails type of tag. And then every time you send out your Black Friday emails, say send out to all these people except anybody tagged with no Black Friday. That's a pro tip that I think everybody should be using during this time of year, because last thing you want to do is like see a whole bunch of sales, but like all of a sudden no email subscribers anymore. So
That's very kind of you.
It
Yeah.
works good. It works really well. People like it. They're like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
you
thank you
gave
so
me
much."
that tip last year, and I asked MailChimp, and they said it wasn't possible in MailChimp. But I'll see if I can be a bit more creative and find a workaround or something. But they said it was impossible.
I think there's what you might be able to do is like send that, say, "Hey folks, if you want to skip this, go over to this form," and they give their email in the form, and that you can have that form auto tag them, like because Mailchimp definitely has tags, but then you're asking them to like do this additional step of like filling out a form, which feels kind of harsh. But
Yeah.
there's where there's a will, there's a way for sure. So
And there'd still be an unsubscribe link at the bottom, wouldn't there? But you're just hoping they don't get that far down.
exactly, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Much bigger link. Yeah.
So
yeah.
on the A/B testing, so we've talked a lot about statistical significance, and that assumes a certain amount of traffic or email subscribers, whichever. What if you're so low volume that you're never going to achieve statistical significance? Is it still worth A/B testing if you're very low traffic, for example?
Yeah, well, like I would say if you are testing on a really low volume site, the important thing to do is to make sure you're getting conversions. So if you're an agency and you get sort of one contact form per week, that's just, it's going to take you forever. It'll take you years to get to significance. Sorry, struggling to talk today. So yeah, when those are the situations, I say it's generally better to bring your conversion further back up the funnel. So maybe it's clicking through to the next page, or maybe it's just engagement. So you can say, measure how many people have stuck on the site for 30 seconds versus haven't made it to 30 seconds, or whatever the time period may be. You can look at your analytics and see what the average time on your page is and sort of figure out a rough number from there. So you do still need traffic and you still need visits to your page. So if your entire homepage is getting 5 visits a week, then it's probably not for you. But once you start getting to the hundreds of visits per week, then there's definitely enough data there for you to start testing and optimizing. And a lot of the time, optimizing for engagement, for just time on the site, is a really good metric for people being interested in your product. You know, like someone that spends 10 minutes on your homepage is likely to be more sort of engaged than someone that clicks through rapidly from one to the next and disappears in 30 seconds. So yeah, it's definitely just a matter of bringing your engagements and bringing your conversions further up the funnel.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And for example, the A/B test I'm doing is just on one product page at the moment. So that's probably why I haven't had the magical email that you mentioned yet, because it's just one product. But we chose our most highest selling product to get that significant. I can't say it either. That's your
It's
fault.
hard, right? Yeah.
To get measurable data quicker. But if we'd done it globally on all products, we'd probably be there already. So I suppose that's a reason to do your whole email list, your whole website or something if you've got lower traffic.
Yeah, absolutely. We find that you'll need at least a few hundred visits and at least 50, generally 100, 200 conversions before there is enough data to make a decision. If you have 20 variations, then you need more data. But if it's just like a sort of 2 or 3 variations, then that's roughly what you need.
Yeah, and it's interesting about what you measure. Matt and I were just talking about that a minute ago before we went live about if we put something on the WP Product Talk website, which doesn't make conversions, we just want people to watch a video, and we weren't sure if we could track that. So we thought, yeah, something like time on page. We were thinking, what metrics could we measure?
Yeah, I mean, you could measure time on page, depending on the player that you're using. You could measure if someone clicks the play button or if someone clicks a link out to their podcast tool, things like that. So you can set up multiple conversions as well. So you can say if they click the play button or if they link out or if they do whatever.
Yeah. I mean, that's the goal, is we want folks to play the video, you know? Are we able to just like How do you do that exactly? It's YouTube video embedded in there. How does the plugin detect whether or not the YouTube has been played or not? Is it like a custom conversion block or something like that?
The YouTube one is a little different. You'd need a little snippet of JavaScript for YouTube itself. It
Yeah.
sends events when you click play and things like that. So there's a
Yep.
docs article about that that'll detect whether or not a YouTube video has been clicked. Yeah, and maybe a simpler way to do it would just be if they click through to the podcast page itself rather than sort of not clicking through to the page. And then that solves a lot of technical difficulties and problems, and probably gives you the same data, honestly.
Yeah. I am curious too, like for all the product folks out there who watch our show, everyone is always thinking through how to make really nice product experiences in their plugin in one form or another. And I called that out earlier about the like a little bit of a gamification of your plugin, where when they reach that certainty percent, you send them out an email and you're like, hey, congratulations, you just got a successful experiment. Have you thought through that kind of like sparks of joy gamification type of stuff for your plugin overall? Do you have some thoughts on that to share with everybody?
Yeah, absolutely. When I first built the plugin, it was very, I'll say, agency focused, as a polite way of saying sort of complicated and ugly. So as more people have started using the plugin, I've realized that, you know, people do want, like you said, sparks of joy. We've just released an update that have, you know, just a graph showing your results. For the longest time, didn't want to do graphs because, to me, as a statistics guy, it doesn't really matter until you get that email saying it's done. You know, like, oh great, we're at 80%. It should mean nothing to people, but it's one of those things where people do like to see how a test is going roughly. I don't want it to show it too much, because in the first week you'll have a wild outlier that is showing that it's the best, and then you give it 3 weeks and it turns out it's actually the worst. So it's been a balance that I'm trying to sort of find for the plugin. But yeah, showing the graphs, showing the way that your traffic is trending, and then we also show like a projection of your current traffic now. So we'll say your test is doing great. At this rate, it'll be another 3 weeks until you achieve statistical significance or something like that. And that's been a big thing for engagement, because a lot of people will create a test and then sort of refresh it every day, and they go, oh, it's not doing anything. I'm still sitting at 60% or something like that. And you lose the excitement about it. So yeah, I totally agree. Having these moments where people can see their data is coming in and it's, you know, it is up and to the left, it does make people much more excited to continue and to share the results as well. You know, like I've seen a lot of people with this newest update, they just screenshotting the results and emailing it saying, this is what we've done, we're on the way, blah, blah, blah.
That's the best.
Yeah. So we're going to update our email to show like a weekly or a bi-weekly update with the graph and everything. So it's just very easy to forward on to your customers.
I mean, any way that you can get people taking screenshots of your product and sharing with their friends and family, that's a win, you know? We used, I signed up a long time ago when we started doing WP Product Talk on YouTube. I signed up for VidID. I don't know if folks have heard of that. But it, you know, it's like a YouTube analytics type of platform. They send you all these like badges and like awards and things as you reach these milestones, and they're just so easily shareable, and it's just really, really smart. I think any way that WordPress products can make themselves fun and engaging in that way, it's a smart way to go for sure.
We need to do an episode on gamification, actually. Mental note.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good
it's
one.
a good one.
Maybe Yoast would be good. Thinking out loud.
I mean, he's got that. He has that new project
Progress planner.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That one is super gamified. So.
Exactly. Yeah. Anyway, stop my internal meeting. So let's move on to talk about some tips for creating effective tests. Because basically you could test anything. It could be a whole page. It could be tiny bit of wording. So, Tom, what sort of advice do you have about how to identify what tests to do on your site?
Yeah. So, I mean, like we've talked about, I think the most important thing to do is to find your funnel and then follow your funnel. So there's no point doing a split test on your privacy policy page or something like that, that like a tiny percent of your visitors are actually going to. So it's important to find your busiest pages that funnel traffic into your checkout or whatever it may be. And then after that, it kind of gets into a bit of an analytics thing. So there's 3 different ways you can go about it. You can look at your analytics or heat maps if you have like a Microsoft Clarity or something like that, and you can see how far down a page people are scrolling, and you can see maybe people aren't getting past halfway on my page. And then that gives you an idea of maybe there's something in the middle of our page that needs updating, or people aren't actually making it to our pricing page. So maybe we need to do something to make the pricing page more obvious. Now that doesn't give you a direct idea of what to do. That's just kind of gives you an idea of the region that you should be looking at. And this one's kind of hard for me because I could talk for hours about sort of finding out what to test.
Yeah.
But yeah, so after you've found the rough area that you think has room for improvement, that would sort of overall increase your traffic through your funnel. Nowadays, I just run it through our AI that we've got on the website or built into the plugin. And that'll give you, obviously it's AI. We've all used ChatGPT now. You know that it's 90% of the way there, and then it's a little bit weird at the end or in the middle or something like that. But I found that the AI is really good because it just comes in with fresh computer eyes, and it gives you some really good unbiased suggestions that you may not have thought of at all. Being AI, sort of 1/3, 2/3 of them are terrible, but there's always something that I find the AI will spit out that is something that you've never thought about or you've sort of written off in your mind for whatever reason before. So you get a lot of good unbiased suggestions that way by using really any of the AIs pointed at your website. Another good way of finding out what to test is like your live chat bubble at the bottom of the site. Is there anything missing from the site? Is there anything you wish you saw on the site? Or just a general question like that you can have pop up after sort of 30 or 40 seconds. And yeah, from there you can basically just create a spreadsheet or we've got a Notion doc. Again, on the website, you can copy ours if you want. And that just gives you a table of all your ideas. And then you just kind of rank your ideas based on how effective you think it'll be. So how far up the funnel it is. If it's near your homepage, it's going to have more effect than, like I said, your privacy policy page and things like that.
Nice.
So yeah, basically just create a table of all your test ideas, and then try them out.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are there any times that you shouldn't test? For example, someone on my marketing team has advised to pause our tests during the Black Friday sale, or specifically pause our tests which are not related to the sale. So that's not your landing page, anything to do with pricing display. So like pause our video test because we haven't got our typical traffic during the Black Friday sale. So is it less reliable?
That's a good point. I wouldn't say it's less reliable. I think what you're testing is what you are testing. So if you're testing increasing engagement on a page, for example, your test is going to tell you whether or not you are increasing engagement. It's not going to tell you whether or not it is your typical traffic. So like you said, you're getting a whole bunch of people that have maybe never visited your website before. A lot of people see a deal and click on it and they don't even know what the deal is for. Whereas most of the time, I agree with you, most people are coming in with some more intent than they otherwise would. I've never thought to stop a test due to that. I feel like you're still getting the same data just in a different way. And I think if you let the test run for long enough as well, it calculates the significance for you. So if your test is going to run for 4 weeks and you've got a crazy week of Black Friday, that may affect your results, but the statistics will see that there was an uptick and now it's gone back down. So your test might run for another week at the end, or it might not run for another week at the end to figure out the discrepancy.
That's a good
so
point.
I mean, yeah, if you do have a lot riding on your right now and this and it has to land this week. I mean, maybe you want to do it, but I think you'd have to have a very good argument for why your traffic is so different to your usual traffic. I'd say it's still probably in the same vein.
I feel like there is
pausing
a
the
good point
test.
there. Yeah, no, I feel like there's a good point there in terms of like the black. If you're testing something on your pricing page specifically, and you know that during this time frame, my pricing page is going to be different, and the intent of the people coming there is different also. Like they already know that a big sale is coming ahead of time, and they like have it on their calendar to go to Barn 2 and check out right away. The whole intent of that traffic is different. So if you're doing a test specifically on the pricing page, I could imagine might be helpful to pause during that time. But ideally, in an ideal world, you're doing all your pricing page testing months before Black Friday, so that you know the best converting pricing page for Black Friday. Is ideally in an ideal world.
Yeah. And I think also when you are doing a test like that, if you're, how do I put it? If you're thinking about making it so different in the test, maybe it's not something that you should be testing in that way. Generally, when you're split testing, you don't want to be selling hand lotion and then bowls on the other side of the split test. You know what I mean? I mean, first of all, Google will destroy you for trying to trick them. But yeah, a lot of the time people try and make like outlandish differences. Like, we're going to change the layout and we're going to change the price of the products. We're going to have 2 tiers instead of 3. And then we're going to do this and this and this. And that's when I would agree with you. You don't want to be confusing people at all. So I think if your test is similar, like test with a testimonial or without a testimonial or with, whatever it is, sure, I think keep it running. But yeah, like you're saying, I think an actual numbers pricing test, it's probably not a good time to do.
Yeah. I also would I would have a hard time running any kind of experiments during Black Friday, because it would, in my mind, it would always be like, well, crap, like half of the audience got the lower performing version. So how many sales did I lose by showing them the lower performing version?
But that's how you learn for next year, because you didn't know which one would perform.
Yeah, that's
what it's all about.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying do it all ahead of Black Friday, so that you just run with the best thing ahead of time or during that time. But I mean, like I'm also saying, the intent of those customers is just so different. They have like a bookmark of your pricing page, and they're waiting for midnight, and then they're like, "Boom, gonna purchase now." So I don't know. It's hard to say.
It is, yeah. I was very glad that my checkout test completed yesterday or the day before. It was it's good to know that nice. I'm not sending people to that terrible 50% conversion page anymore.
Yeah. Well, real quick, I do want to highlight, I want to wait till towards the end of the show, and I would be doing an injustice if I didn't mention that we just actually launched our own A/B testing product as well at Stellar WP. Cadence Insights is now live. CadenceWP.com, Cadence-Insights. We're really excited about it as well. We as soon as Google Optimize went away, we all were like, stupid, this is dumb. And we wanted to figure something out too. This was a side project for a long time. But it literally just launched like last week. So I'd love for folks to check it out as well. But we're here because we love Tom as well. So definitely go and check out the A/B split test plugin, absplittest.com, and check it out and see what you could do. I love the whole approach, and I love your insights you're bringing to the show today, Tom. Thanks a bunch.
Thank you. Yeah, and I checked out your introductory video, and it looks like it's looking solid. Yeah,
it's coming together. It's an interesting product for sure. The more that WordPress folks can own their own A/B testing data, I think the better. So
this is for
I think,
using Cadence specifically, I guess.
No, actually, it doesn't require Cadence in any way. It's
interesting.
independent plugin that works with lots of different. It is a block. It's block based. Yeah, it's block based.
Just blocks, I believe.
So you can't. I don't believe. Elementor. That's a good question. I don't know yet. Elementor does have support for blocks, so I don't know if you could use this in an Elementor environment or not. But yeah, worth testing. We lost Tom.
I think you mentioned a competitor. Oh, he's back.
Yeah, I'm out of here.
I'm furious. I'm out of here. That's all right. No, there's plenty of room for us to take it away from Hotjar and the other companies that charge $400 a month or whatever they charge.
Yeah, at Stellar, we've been using one called VWO. That's what we went to after Google Optimize took off. It is really helpful, really good. It's actually very lightweight. It doesn't really bog down the website much, but it's expensive. So definitely not for everybody. But we're going to do best advice. We got time for that?
Yeah, I think so. Because we started a bit late, didn't we? So it hasn't been a super long episode. Okay, so my best advice for people getting started with A/B testing is basically to re-listen to what Tom said a minute ago about how to choose what to test, because I really love that methodology of being really structured about how to choose your tests. I love the advice about using AI for initial ideas, also use your common sense and your experience, and then the way he talked about prioritizing those tests. So I'd say out of everything we've talked about, that's a really actionable piece of advice.
Love it. Me personally, I'd say echo what I said earlier about our approach at Give, about diligence and being like having intentional meetings around checking on the results and looking for the next things, like the diligence of checking on your results and thinking of next projects monthly or weekly or whatever cadence you feel like is best for you, and continuing to iterate over a period of time. Like it's just, you can't just do like one A/B test and call it done. You really got to be doing it continually in order to see incremental progress towards better results over time. And don't settle, be like, oh, I got a 0.1% increase, I guess that's all I'm going to get. Like, don't think like that. Like, keep trying to get up to 2 and 3 and 5% increases. You can do it. So just keep at it over time. Tom, what about you? Best advice for this? This is like elevator pitch best advice.
I mean, best advice would be to, like you were, to not give up. It's quite a special, I mean, I would call it a superpower almost, in that you can try an idea, it can be terrible, and then that idea disappears and is gone forever. You try an idea and something great happens and you keep it. So you're like gambling without losing money, like you can just keep trying, keep doing new tests every month or every whatever cadence you want to do. Anytime there's a winner, you keep that winner forever. You get that increased efficiency forever. If it's a loser, that's great too. It's a loser. You can move on with your life and you don't lose that efficiency forever. You just lose it for 2-3 weeks. So yeah, like you said, I think it's important to just keep testing, keep trying, and also to keep it simple. Like that's why I built Split Test, was because it gets really complicated to do more and add bits and code and all of this. So if you can just keep it simple, follow your funnel, find the problems that you think your guests are having, and then just keep on trying. Your first split test is probably not going to go that well. Maybe you get lucky, maybe not. But if you do 3 split tests, by the time you've done your third one, you'll realize how effective it is. And, free money. It's great.
Yeah, good advice. Well, that's a wrap. Tom, thank you so much for joining us. Where can people find you online?
Thank you very much. I think the best place to find me is at absplittest.com. And then we link out to everywhere else from there. We're picking up our Instagrams and things like that. People seem to be into that. But yeah, check out the website. We've got a free plugin, so you can download the free version that works forever, and is a great way to get started without spending any cash.
Love it. Folks, if you tune in next week, we're going to have another show. I don't have details, but we're going to have another show. So we have a couple more folks on the list that are coming up over the next couple of weeks. But next week's going to be a surprise to all of us. So follow us on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, WP Product Talk. Visit our website, wpproducttalk.com. And as always, thanks everybody for being here and checking us out. Have a good week.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.